Alright guys, welcome back. We are watching episode 15 of Bakemonogatari. This is the finale for Bakemonogatari and for this arc, of course. Man, it's crazy thinking about that. How we're already this far, but also not far at all, because this is like, what, 15 episodes into this anime that has like 120 episodes or something crazy. So this is just the end of the very, very beginning, basically. We're like 10% of the way through, so... a lot has happened though, so I don't know. I'm excited to see how this is gonna wrap up. Um, Man, I don't know. It's been a journey so far, and we've barely even started really. So, man, last time, a whole bunch of stuff happened. Aragi finally knows what the source of Hanakawa's stress is and what her problem is that he got to help her with, but both of the obvious solutions to that problem, either dating Hanakawa instead or letting Hanakawa kill him, I think, are pretty bad solutions. So I don't know. I wonder what will go down. And there's also all the stuff with Shinobu missing, of course. So I feel like that might play in here. But we will see. I'm not gonna ramble on forever. You can listen to the last discussion if you want to hear my thoughts. But yeah, let's get started. So there's a Patreon down in the description if you want this with the picture and everything. Otherwise, you can line up your copy with this as we start, and we are starting in 3, 2, 1. Wow, he looks so cool. Mmm, man. Mm. Mm-hmm. It's kind of sad that you know, Hanakawa had to confess to him through the guise of this, aberration. Hmm. Not gonna happen. Ah, she's gonna be in denial at first. Makes sense. He has such a low view of himself that it's gonna be very difficult for him to even accept it. Especially with what he thinks of Hanakawa as well. How high of an opinion he has of her. Now, this is Hanakawa. I don't think she'd be mistaken, yeah. But it's not her master, it's just her, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what it's felt like? Probably. Aragi has been going to her. Yeah, well, ah, she can't. Yeah, she has to act like that. That's what she feels like. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, not just him specifically. I mean, anyone probably, right? Because even something like that, it's just, for the type of person she is, she just can't do it. Oh my god. Hmm. All right, we get this opening one last time. Oh. Hmm. Man, I feel so bad for her because it's not her fault. It's not her fault that she feels like this. Um, Her behavior, you can't really say it's her fault, right? It's certainly, you know, kind of a defense mechanism in a way that she's developed. Um, she can't help feeling this way that she does about her own feelings in general, right? Hmm. This opening is very all of these scenes in this opening. It just makes me think, especially with the portrayal of Black Hanakawa as well. It just makes me wonder if like Hanakawa's physical appearance, her being so like physically attractive, especially to Araragi. I feel like that must be saying something, right? Because like Araragi loves Senjugahara, right? But he doesn't act to her like the way he does like towards Black Hanakawa in the last episode, for example. Last episode. Hmm. It all comes back to spring break. Oh, all of this crazy stuff that we saw. Free her from the life she was sick of. About like her family and stuff, right? Hmm. Senjugahara sure did, but that's partially Hanakawa moved real slow. Not just moved real slow, just I assume she just couldn't bring herself to ever confess to Aragi, right? She would just think it would be a burden on him. Yeah. God, and it's so sad that it's like her, instead of her telling him, it's this possessed version of her. Hmm. Hmm. Feels like fate saves her life. Man, we haven't heard about that. We've just heard about how Araragi thinks Hanakawa saved her life. I mean, saved his life. My bad. Mm-hmm. Makes sense though. Well, how would you know that? You don't know. Oh, I mean that's still part of it, I'm sure, but not this time. Well, what would you know? Hmm. Yeah. Oh, what a question. Man, that's really playing at Aragi's hmm. And just thinking about this, it's Hanakawa saying this, right? I don't believe her that this is just possession. It's not her, right? Hmm, that's rough. Hmm. Okay. Really trying every angle here. Really, literally just playing at Aragi's insecurities. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Sure. That is a better reason. That is a better reason. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially now. Yeah. Yeah. It's just not an option. Like, no matter what she says, like, I mean, because those two things she said really play at Aragi's insecurities so much, and they aren't gonna work. So yeah, this path is not gonna work for her. Hmm. Her own weakness. Is that how you view it? Mm-hmm. She has to do it through the guise of this possession thing, right? I suppose. Hmm. You know, I don't know. I don't know if he does have some nerve to say that with the way he acts about his own feelings and thoughts. So, sacrifice himself. Interesting. To save her. Hmm. Yeah, just like what she was saying to him in the library. Mm-hmm. Just wow. Episode 1. Hmm. Hmm. No changing someone's feelings. Hmm. Yeah, that really did work its way into his mind, right? Especially Hanakawa saying it. It's almost like he wants an excuse for it as well, though. Yeah, he wants an excuse for why he can't believe Hanakawa would fall in love with him normally, right? Because of his opinion of himself. Mm-hmm. Hmm. No, certainly not. Certainly not. Mm-mm. Just looking for an excuse for her own feelings. Well, not really a lie. It's something she wished was true. Yeah. Be a lot easier to deal with that if it was that. Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. And this is another thing. It's much easier to tell him about her feelings like this in this, possession aberration form. Hmm. Man, it's like we're in a boss arena. Like that shot again. Hmm. Yeah, I think I've thought of another way as well. Walk over that. Walk over to the street light. Okay. Don't have enough of a shadow. Okay, yeah. I don't know what this about walking under a street light. I don't know what that has to do with this, but I think, uh-huh, it's going this way. It's the other solution, right? It's like, well, he said that she owes her his life. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're dead, you know. Oh my, okay. Oh my God. All right. Wow. That different. She didn't kill them. She just kills you. Mm-hmm. She didn't get rid of the source of the stress, right? Of course, I'm not saying I agree with this line of logic. Like, uh, mm-hmm. Hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But like, dude, but like, oh no, man. Yeah, I mean, it's much worse than it was with Kanbaru, right? Because he feels much more in debt. He feels like he owes his life to Hanakawa, right? Oh, yeah, that's what he wants. That's the way to pay back his debt, right? He said he cares more about his debt to her. Oh, mm-hmm. Sure. All right. You can't do that. Like, what's the solution here, right? He can't do that. He can't let her kill him. You know, it's sad he still needs this exterior reason for why, but he has a reason. Senjougahara has given him a reason. Oh, man. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe, right? He didn't do it for transactional purposes, but oh, yeah. That's what he thinks about himself. Hmm. Well, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it's not how he feels, but it's what he thinks, right? Like when he thinks about it logically, that's what he thinks. Obviously, it's not logical, but mm-hmm. Yeah, they want to just like how he helps other people, right? It's not them being selfish. They wanted to help him. Oh, yeah. I mean, think about what this would do to Hanakawa if you let her kill you when this whole Black Hanakawa thing is over. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Coming out of his shadow. All right. That was very cool. Someone came to help him. Interesting. Just doing this again, huh? Yeah, what was that all? So did she know? That what Shinobu was I mean, I don't know. It was inside of his shadow, I guess. They mentioned that. They talked about her being able to turn into a shadow in the last episode. Just gonna suck out the stress again. Not gonna deal with the cause, right? It's like, yeah, just the same as the other arcs. Hmm. Huh. Huh. Interesting. Man, I really want to know the backstory behind these two. Uh, oh, backs to each other. He just can't even say anything else to her. Oh, Man. Hmm. She helped him. Man, that okay. Hmm. Will she just forget again like last time? Oh, yeah. Just right back to this. I mean, it's just like just in the tiny moment there between right after turning back, she was able to say something about her own feelings, you know. Hmm. Hmm. Is Oshino gone? He said he was going to be gone one day, right? That he wouldn't be here all along. No, I think, yeah, it's everything's gone. He's gone. I mean, I assume Oshino didn't take all the chairs with him, but you know, them being gone is obviously a visual symbolism. You know, yeah. I don't think she remembers. It's back where we started, pretty much. Hasn't been dealt with. Mm-hmm. Mm. He knows now. Time isn't gonna solve it, is the problem. Another person has saved his life, right? She really did, pretty much. Aw. Oh. Hmm. Oh. Oh. That's powerful. Oh. Oshino's gone. Man. That's what he said. Hmm. Ready to move on, huh? Man, that kind of hurt. That hurts. Hmm. And I guess he didn't. He was telling him. He told him. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Man, that's big. No more Oshi now. He's gone. I have a feeling we won't be seeing him for a while, but they made such a big deal out of it, you know? Oh, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying. It could, you know. I know I don't know if Aragi's just assuming that, but like the Beatles. Hmm. Has to be some kind of joke there. I'm not getting. Oh, oh. It's like in episode one, but oh. Hmm. Oh. And oh man, I'm surprised I didn't cry to that one, but oh, that was so good, man. Huh. I gotta think. Last time we get this ending, right? Such a good ending. I'm gonna miss it. You read the lyrics. Hmm. Might have some thoughts on the ending lyrics. I don't know. Oh, that's the end of Bakemonogatari. Their preview. Their preview. Oh. All right. Well, I'll see you guys in the discussion. All right, let's go through the episode. Man, that was a good finale. It was a very good finale. Where did I put my pen? There it is. So like, uh, yeah, that was good. That was very good. You know, so man, to talk about is of Bakemonogatari as a whole so far, right? I mean, not so far. This is the end. This is so talk about Bakemonogatari as a whole. Period. Man, it was very good. The arcs had a very specific structure to them for the most part that was executed quite well, and yeah, it was really good. Um, man, I'm very all of the characters are so good. Just every character in this entire story is incredible for the most part. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's even possible to write something like this because it has just been crazy. Like, it's like every line and every interaction every character has some deep meaning to it that is always there. That you can always extract something from every line of dialogue. Basically, it's very cool. It's very, it's yeah, really good. That's for sure. Um, and I guess I don't know. I'm excited what we're doing next. Where we're going from here. So I don't know. Let's talk about the episode. Man, so Aragi finally learns about Hanakawa's feelings, which, you know, I said it during the episode a few times about how it's kind of sad that, she reveals her feelings. The only way she feels like she can reveal her feelings is through this, evil monster cat thing, possessing her and it telling Aragi instead of her, right? Because, like, as long as she's separating herself from this, she's separating the real version of her real self, which is like herself without all of those emotions and stuff she wants to push aside, right? It's like she's separating that from this evil cat thing that possesses her, and she can only do it. She can only tell Aragi about her feelings in this state because, like, in her mind, this is the evil cat thing that goes around and harms people, energy drains them, and is evil, and that's how she views the effects that her feelings and her problems will have on other people, right? So, this is the only state in which she can bring herself to be able to tell him, and then she just forgets about it. She doesn't remember, so it's like she didn't even tell him. Just, the difference now is he knows, but I just, and for Aragi, like, think about Aragi and how that's going to impact him moving on. Because it wasn't solved, right? Yet again, all we've done is drain the stress out of her with Shinobu. We haven't fixed the catalyst of her stress, her family or Aragi. Um, so this issue isn't fixed, right? Really, if you think about it, throughout all of Bakemonogatari, none of the issues have been fixed, right? Like Senju is maybe the closest because she's dealing with her trauma again, right? She has it back, but it's not like it's been dealt with, like emotionally. We saw that in episode 12, her very personal problem she has related to her sexual trauma. Um, and like Hajikuji, harder to say about Hajikuji, but Kambaru, her problem hasn't been dealt with at all, right? She still has the monkey arm. It hasn't been, it really hasn't. She had to give up playing basketball. So it really hasn't been fixed at all for her. Nadeko, Sengoku Nadeko, really, we basically didn't get to know what her problem is in any way, which I talked about many times about how, it seems like her problem is the fact that she hides her problems from everyone so well. So whatever her problems are, we don't even know what they are. So they certainly weren't fixed. And for Araragi, you know, he's kind of, we'll talk about it. He's made some improvement, some serious improvement throughout Bakemonogatari, that's for sure. A long ways to go. He got a long ways to go. That is for sure. It's like, you know, go back to this, her telling him about how Hanakawa is in love with him. She is in love with him, Obviously, his immediate response is to deny it and say, I don't believe you, because he, he can't imagine it. He has such a high opinion and a high view of Hanakawa that his, her being in love with him when he has such a low opinion of himself, it's just like unimaginable to him, right? That just, doesn't work in his mind. Hmm. And yeah, and it's like everything he's been doing has just made it worse for her, right? Not, I'm not saying it's his fault, right? Because she's just as much to blame here for never telling him and never, that's her problem is she can't, right? Um, him going to her for help and all of this stuff, is fine because he just had no idea, right? And she never told him. So, that's made it worse. It's not his fault. It's not really her fault either, to be fair. You could say it's more her fault than his, to be honest, right? It's really her issue, her emotional problem here that is really causing the problem, you know. Yeah, and it's not even just Aragi, I assume it's just anything, right? I mean, anytime, if she had a crush on anyone, I don't think she could ever bring herself to tell them about it. Especially, yeah, I guess especially Aragi with the way he is. Hmm. Last time we get that opening. Oh yeah, there's no flashing text. All we get is Hanakawa Tsubasa is a very important person for me. Ah, last episode. Been since spring break, which you know, I really want to know what happened over spring break. All we know about spring break is the vampire stuff, and yeah, I mean, I guess that's it, right? We just know the vampire stuff. Man, I feel like there was one more thing I really wanted to say about Black Hanakawa and that whole situation. Like, there's something about how Black Hanakawa manifests as a result of how Hanakawa views her own problems, but it's just at the tip of my tongue and I keep forgetting what it is when I actually want to talk about it. I just randomly remember it and then I forget about it. um, man, hopefully it'll come back to me. Um, yeah, and then, she explains performance of troop dog curry. I have no idea what that means. But you know, she explains why she fell in love. She has this cold, unloving family. During spring break, she meets Araragi. It feels like fate that she has met him. That he has, I guess a supernatural entity who happens to be her classmate. And then he saves her life, which we certainly haven't heard about that, right? All we've heard about is Araragi saying that Hanakawa saved his life. So I don't know. It makes me wonder which one of their positions on it is more accurate. Automatically by default, I go against believing Araragi because he always seems like he has a very skewed, twisted view of things. But just because of the way he thinks and the way he is, right? But I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm curious because Hanakawa also is not, she is also not honest about her own feelings and thoughts. So I don't know. Very hard to say. I'll just have to wait, I guess, until I see what happens in spring break. I don't know. I really don't know. Hmm. And the way that Black Hanakawa says it, she's convinced that it's love. It's very interesting. I don't know. I wonder. Hmm. How did he? I wonder how he saved her. I don't know. Because, like, her position hasn't really improved. Her family is still awful. And, you know, nothing has really been fixed for her. So, I don't know. Yeah, and, like, she feels like something has been snatched away from her, but, like, not even. Because uh, Hanakawa hasn't, again, you just, I guess I can't blame Hanakawa fully. Just, you know, if she wanted this, she should have been able to share her feelings, but she can't. So, that's the problem. That's the problem. Oh, God, I just want to read every line of dialogue again, make sure I'm not missing anything. Like, and then it's like this, this to me, this really hurts me in my mind, right? Like, it's almost, again, I don't want to be too mean to Hanakawa, but I'm gonna be, so I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm blaming Hanakawa too much, but I kind of am, right? And I feel like part of the reason why she acts like this is because, it's entirely just because of the way she views this, right? Right now she's possessed by the evil cat that's making her act all evil and do crazy things, right? So that's why she's saying hurtful, awful things like this, right? Like, her saying to him, haven't you really fallen for anyone? Are you just dating Shinjigahara to shut her up? Like, that plays so perfectly into Aragi's like insecurities about their relationship and stuff. That is a really just awful thing to say to him. Right? Like, you know, um he says he can't do that, and then, immediately she just goes on to the next thing, which is just another thing that plays perfectly at his insecurities, which is, don't you need to reward me for everything I've done for you, which is exactly what Aragi told her, and 2 episodes ago about how he owes her his life. So, you know, yeah, it's rough. She is really playing up the things that she knows he is insecure about and really cares about, and I don't know, power to Aragi for overcoming it, I guess. He says Hanakawa would be taking advantage of my debt to her, which is not something I expected from Aragi for him to say that. But then he just calls it a convenient excuse. And I wonder if the fact that he says it like this is because he is, he's viewing this as Black Hanakawa, being different than Hanakawa. This is a possession, this isn't her, right? So, he's viewing it as like, that's Black Hanakawa suggesting this. That's not what Hanakawa would really want. Even though, you know, again, this is like, it's not Hanakawa is like evil and would ever say these kinds of things to Aragi. It's not like this is what Hanakawa was really thinking, that she would really say these things to him if she wasn't in this form, right? I'm saying, like, these are things in her mind, I guess, Um I don't know. I just don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to say Hanakawa is like evil or something, right? Because I keep going on about how this isn't a real possession, Like, it's taking the form of a possession because Hanakawa thinks of it in that way. You're right. Can't deny his feeling for Sendra, which is, that is a much better reason. So I'm glad he has that, right? Episode 12, thank God. Mm-hmm. He loves her. So that strategy isn't going to work, right? Or, she went after like the most extreme things about his mentality that she could, basically. And he didn't cave. So um yeah, and then this line that he says about how it's her own weakness and how she should have told him this herself. Like, I kind of agree with that in a way, but I think that is very rich coming from Aragi with the way he acts about his own feelings. And, like, I just don't think he's in any position to be talking about this. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how much how much I agree with this from Araki exactly. Hmm. And yeah, and then here just more stuff about Spring Break, about how like he sacrificed himself to save Shinobu, um, which is again a very different framing than what Oshino has said, or what Aragi has said, because Aragi has said it's his fault that it happened. I don't know. I really don't know. Sacrificed himself to save her. And then we're back to this about how he's kind to everyone, so no one is special, right? Man, I'm just trying to think. Like, to me, that feels like some kind of like, you know, it almost makes you feel like Araragi and Hanakawa's, because Hanakawa acts like that too, right? As it makes you feel like their feelings could be like disingenuous, right? If they're kind to everyone, how do you know that their feelings are genuine, right? And I guess that's just part of the whole, obviously, like, part of the reason why Hanakawa is saying this, because, she's jealous and that's how she feels about it, right? But I feel like there is more to it. Like, that does make sense to me. If you're kind to everyone, no one feels special, right? I'm not saying that, like, I don't know. I don't really know how much I agree with that. I guess I just get that general kind of, that vibe of a message from it, I suppose. Hmm. Yeah, and then here it's revealed, I talked about this. Oh, I mean, I didn't talk about this a couple episodes ago in the discussion about how, like, what Hanakawa said to Aragi about how her her and all the people around Aragi are falling in love with him, basically, or he's become so popular because of this vampire charm stuff, right? Which is her just wanting an excuse for her own emotions, right? She wants some reason to write them off and push them away. Like, she wants that excuse, but saying that to Araragi, when Araragi values her opinion so much and cares so much about what she thinks, obviously, he goes to her for, like, all of his problems. Like, just think about in Araragi's mind, it would just make him feel like all of his connections, all of these people he's formed throughout all of Bakemonogatari are disingenuous, they disingenuous, they aren't real. I guess it's kind of similar to the being kind to everyone thing. It's almost like, oh, if everyone's being kind to you, maybe there's, he wants some explanation for it. He doesn't think, because of his low opinion of himself, it's like he doesn't think he deserves it. And this excuse that Hanakawa has given him, makes a lot of sense to him. And I'm sure it hurts a lot to think that, right? Not that he shows it. Hmm. No changing someone's feelings. Not very easily, at least, right? Hmm. No changing someone's feelings. I feel like that goes for a lot of stuff about Araragi as well. How, like, I've talked about it before about how his whole, I guess it was pretty obvious here about how things that you might think he's figured out or have been solved for him, it's not something that's easy to go away. Like, you could think after everything that happened with Kamburu, him deciding to let someone kill him, you might think, oh, he's got it figured out now. Obviously not, because it happens again here, right? And just like, it's like the stuff I was saying in the episode 12 discussion as well about his feelings about Senju and their relationship in general. I hope the stuff we get in this episode, him thinking about her before Hanakawa kills him, tries to kill him, and it basically being his reason to not die, is it makes sense. Like, it makes me think, it makes me hope, just like I was saying in the episode 12 discussion, that he took this and the way Senju feels about him and everything that she's done for him, that he is taking it as motivation for himself to do better and act better, instead of just another thing for him to feel bad about. And I think that this scene is showing that that is how he's taking it, in some way at least, right? Okay, let me not skip forward though. I really don't want to miss anything in this episode. Hmm. And yeah, and then once that's been settled, that this whole him dating her isn't going to work, we move to the other solution, which I mentioned before about how, killing Araragi, right? Which, yeah, it's, he's much closer to accepting this, to letting himself be killed by her, than he is ever, thinking about dating her like Hanakawa wants. But it's like think about this. Think about this. From Araragi's perspective, what Araragi is doing here, almost letting Hanakawa kill him, is kind of a terrible, awful thing for him to do, right? I just want you to think about what Hanakawa would feel like if if this problem had been resolved in that way. That Hanakawa kills Araragi. Um, oh my god, no, this is way worse than I thought. Like, Hanakawa kills Araragi because of her feelings, you know? Because of this, she has this horrible view of herself and her feelings that manifest as Black Hanakawa. As a result of those feelings, she kills Araragi, which is, like, the worst thing ever. And because he lets her do it, you know? Like, think about how when she already thinks that her feelings are a burden on other people, her feelings and her problems are just going to be a bother and a burden on other people, like, now her feelings have killed Araragi, and he let her do it, right? Just think about how horrible that would be in her mind about, I talk about reinforcing her feelings on that, about how what she wants and what she feels is a burden on other people. Well, now in her mind, she's just killed someone that she's in love with, that she cares about very much because of her feelings, because she, you know, yeah. So I thank God Aragi did not do this. Would have been awful, right? You know, not to say Hanakawa is without blame, right? Because this is Hanakawa's feelings, right? It's almost like, you know, Hanakawa, this whole Black Hanakawa thing. If you think about it like this, it's like her bottling up all of her feelings, and Black Hanakawa manifests as her taking them out on everyone when they have bottled up too much. The stress has reached a breaking point. She can't handle it anymore. She takes it out on people around her, right? Um, it's like that's just how it works in like real life if you bottle up your emotions, right? Like if you have growing resentment towards someone or just growing problems that you push away, you never mention to anyone, stuff like that, eventually you won't be able to hold it all in anymore. And you reach this breaking point. That's when Black Hanakawa comes out, So like it being like this cycle that she's going through, that Black Hanakawa comes out, all the stress happens, all of this, all the stuff she's been holding in, and then it goes away. And the stress is just going to build back up. It's going to reach that breaking point again, yeah. So in that way, yeah, I don't know, I feel like it's a good way of thinking about Black Hanakawa. Hmm. And yeah, I mean, it's like, I'm not saying Hanakawa wants to kill Araragi. Um, but I think, I don't know, how do I even phrase this? Like, Hanakawa isn't without blame here, because I think all of this is born from Hanakawa's thoughts and feelings, because she's trying to kill him. Um, and I don't think this is just her being possessed and it's not really her, right? Um, but like, I don't think you can blame her for acting like this in general. You can't blame someone really for a problem like this, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know, right? And Araragi is so close to letting her do it, right? Because he owes her his life, right? That's what he said a million times. Or not a million times. He said it once. I've thought about it a million times. I've said it a million times. And yeah, he's so close to letting her do it, which just would have been awful if he did that. I mean, obviously he would be dead, um, which would be horrible. And like, so the reason what breaks him out of it is thinking about Senjougahara, right? And like, here, I said this during the episode, and I hope people don't get mad at me and don't listen to the discussion, because I said, like, it's not great that he has to look to another person for a reason, and that he doesn't have a reason within himself, because I do agree with that. I do think, needing another person, needing another person's, like this, right? Needing their input or their, you know, relying on another person in this way to stay alive and not want to kill yourself, basically, right? Not die for the sake of someone else. Um, you know, it's very good. It's very good that Senjougahara is here to do this for him, right? It's amazing that the chains she has had on him, because I have no doubt before Senjougahara and all of this, before episode 12 probably, he would have let Hanakawa kill him, right? I think he would have, absolutely, right? Which would have been horrible, the worst ending imaginable for every character. But, like, it's very good that she is there to do that for him, I think eventually, the next step of progression for Araragi is to find reason and meaning within himself for why he doesn't want someone to kill him. Right, for why he doesn't want to die for someone else's sake. Because that's like the obvious thing, is like, uh all of this is due to the fact that he has such a low opinion of himself and of his own life. Um that he forms this idea that he's so indebted to Hanakawa because she helped someone like him who has no value, you know. And I just, eventually, if he can, instead of seeking external reasoning for why he shouldn't die, coming up with reasoning within himself why he shouldn't die, basically fixing the issue of thinking he's worth so little, right? That he should just throw away his life for someone else. So again, it's like, I just, I don't want to sound like I'm being super negative about their relationship or about Senjagahara or anything like that. Just, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about that, I guess. He doesn't even think, obviously, he doesn't even think about all the stuff that I was thinking about Hanakawa killing him and what that would mean for Hanakawa, right? He's thinking, the sad thing is, and in his mind, I guess, he's thinking, oh, that really would be a solution, right? If I did die here, that would fix Hanakawa's problems, right? Which, that's ridiculous. It wouldn't. It would be awful for her. He's not there yet, unfortunately. But, that's okay, I guess. Hmm. And then just, man, it's so powerful. Just this imagery of her choking him is just very. And then, I don't know, all this stuff, I don't really know what to take of it. Of her, she led him under the street lamp so he would have a shadow for Shinobu to come out and help him. Because she's the one who suggests that he calls for people to help. I don't know. I don't really know what to take from that, you know? I've really tried thinking about what that means exactly for her. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not sure. Because, there's the thing about how she said about how Shinobu draining her, sure, makes sense, right? But, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what her motivation for this is, I guess. Unless it really is just, oh, Shinobu will come out and drain me. He's in this position and he asks for help. But, hmm. And, this is very what does he say here exactly? No one's gonna save me. People accept help selfishly for their own sake, which, my God, it's so contradictory with Araragi's own thoughts and emotions. And I'm not saying that in a way of like, it's inconsistent character writing or something. It makes sense for him as a character. I'm not saying it's like process is contradictory and doesn't make sense, right? Because, he can apply that to himself. It's like emotionally he doesn't agree with this, but it's like he has this idea in his head that this is the truth and that this is what he should be trying to live up to, right? It's like he has in his mind that accepting help from other people is bad, right? And he doesn't follow it perfectly. It's like he breaks his own like code that he thinks of what is correct, which is not accepting help from other people. And then like it's not contradictory. It's just in his mind then he's just doing the wrong thing. He's just breaking what he thinks is right. It's like she says you don't really think that. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you. It's an okay. It is just something he says. I agree with her that that's just something he says. I think it's something he says, and that's on some level, on a very deep level, I think he does agree with it, right? But it's not what he feels, right? In reality, the way his actual behavior and the way he acts, he doesn't live up to that at all, right? Which the problem then is I don't think he changes that position in his mind that he shouldn't accept help from other people and that that's selfish. Instead, he just thinks, oh, I'm such a loser and a selfish person for accepting help from other people because I'm not going along with that. And that's part of why he has formed this low opinion of himself, right? Hmm. Just because, I mean, because it's just like what she said. It's, people's feelings don't change that easily, right? Because, I mean, how many times in a row now has he had this type of thing that basically directly contradicts that line of logic that people accept help selfishly, right? I mean, every arc in this entire story, he hasn't changed his mind about it yet, right? Yeah, and it's like, Hanakawa says all of this about, what reason does it have to do with their helper, right? Which, like, in regards to him, the reason why he has been helping people. They haven't been selfish, right? Of course, the problem is then, no, wait, it's almost like the reason why he says no one has actually been helped by him, why he always pushes away responsibility for having helped other people. Is it because he then thinks that they are selfish if they accepted help from him? And he doesn't want to think that about other people, right? So he says, "Oh, I didn't really help you." Is it because he thinks like other people think like this too? Like that being helped by some other person is this huge deal that you're indebted to them forever. So for him, the automatic response to someone saying, "Oh, thank you for the help," it's no, I didn't really help you, because he has this ingrained thing in his mind that getting help from other people is selfish. Man. And like, thank God. I mean, like, this is, yeah, they'd be sad. They would be sad. So thank you for not wanting to kill yourself, Aragi. Right? You have friends now. And I just wonder how different it would be if none of this had happened. If he hadn't helped Senjugahara, he hadn't helped Hajikuji, he hadn't helped Kambru, he hadn't helped Nadeko, you know. If he was in this position with it only being Hanakawa still, I think he would have let Hanakawa kill him. So it's like it's undeniable that people have had this impact on him. Um, I just think he just thinks he's like selfish for it. Like he asked for help for Shinobu, and she helps him. Which again, I don't really know what to think about it. I don't really know what. Hmm. If we're thinking about how we were talking about how Shinobu could be jealous of not even just jealous, but upset with the way Aragi has been treating her. Yeah, him finally reaching out, asking for help from her instead of brushing her aside, saying she's nothing, all of that. Um, I understand why she helped him, of course. I really don't get this whole shadow thing, why Black Hanakawa wanted this. I mean, other than just getting the stress drained, but I feel like there has to be a deeper reasoning behind it. I mean, unless she's just, I mean, unless this is just she's just trying to teach Aragi a lesson about getting helped by other people. I mean, maybe I don't think it's the time for that. Like maybe. And man, just his attitude towards Shinobu is very interesting. He thinks all this stuff about her. You know, they're back to back. He doesn't really say a word to her. All he says is, please don't kill her, and that's just it. You know. I just think about what's going through his mind. Is he thinking right now that he's selfish for having asked her for help? Is he thinking, man, I don't know. Man, and then just this is very sad. Like, just they're both, you know, and then it's like this tiny time period when she's just turned back from Black Hanakawa. It's like she has this tiny opportunity to tell Aragi about something that she really feels, which is, you know, that him saying that hurt her feelings, right? It's very, I don't know, that really is powerful to me, right? That this is, this tiny opportunity in time that she has. Like, it's like it's the effects of Black Hanakawa haven't left her completely or something. She has this tiny opportunity to tell him something about her own feelings for once, right? That him saying that hurt her feelings. and then and then it's just we're just back, right? Hasn't been solved, that's for sure. If anything, it's just gonna make Aragi feel worse, right? I mean, sadly, that's gonna. Hanakawa forgot about all of it. Now Aragi is just another thing he's gonna blame himself for. That's another thing he's gonna feel even worse about for dating Senjugahara. Ah, Yoshino's gone. Yoshino is gone. Meets up with Hanakawa. She doesn't remember anything. And I just, I said this about this line too. Like, you know, maybe I'm reading too deep into this line, but like him saying she needs time to mend her heart. Well, it's like what that line in the opening says. How she's been waiting all this time. You know, time isn't going to solve this. Time is just going to make it worse. That's all it's done. That's all it's done so far, right? You know, she needs time. It's not going to mend her heart at all. It's just going to get worse and worse again, right? And then Senjigahara, his reason for being alive, essentially. One of them, really, he thought about everyone, but his initial reason for not letting Hanakawa kill him was because of Senjigahara. So, and Oshino's gone. Man, it's a big deal, No more Oshino, no more mentor character for Aragi to cling to. No more easy way out. He has to deal with it himself from now on, pretty much, right? Assuming he still goes down the same path of wanting to help everyone, which I don't see why that would have changed. Hmm. Man, I just thought this shot was so powerful. Her, in the room where her and Aragi fought, you know, it's her looking at it and thinking about it. I don't know, just think about what's going through her mind. Hmm. No more Oshino. Long gone. They look like the Beatles. And then just this very cute ending. Dark things even within his own shadow, huh? I feel like you could read some stuff into that line, maybe. Obviously it's a reference to Shinobu, right? Being within his shadow now. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. What a perfect last episode. That was very good. Like, obviously, nothing has been resolved, essentially, right? Stuff has been kind of resolved. Aragi has made some amount of progress in his mind. I don't think he has made very much, really. But he has made some progress, right? But we got another 100 episodes to go, so I believe in him. Um, man, what a good 15 episodes. It was very good. Hmm. Last project is a haunted house, huh? With that, the end. Man. Oh, so good. Hmm. I don't know. I hope, whenever I'm really critical about characters, like I kind of was in this episode, even though I don't want to come across being really critical. I always worry people are going to be mad and they're not going to like my interpretation or they're going to think I'm being too harsh. No, I mean, I love all of these characters. I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to do that, I guess. So, please. I do want to talk about the ending lyrics for a second because I think it is interesting. Like, all of this stuff, the beginning part is obviously a reference to what Senjogahara says to Aragi in episode 12, right? But then a lot of these other lines, like saying, I looked up from the pitch dark world, and, you know, all of that. Lines like that, her, running after him, which again is Aragi, it just makes me think, this seems like it's from like Hanakawa's perspective, her saying, I looked up from the pitch black world. Well, that's very reminiscent of what Hanakawa's explanation was for being in love with Aragi in this episode, right? She said, like, I have this horrible home life, all of that, and then you appeared and you were like gonna, you were my prince who was gonna save me, pretty much, right? I don't know. That's what it reminds me of, I suppose. And it's like I feel like the entire later half of this, it's like stuff about the person not being surprised about her feelings and all of that. That just seems much more Hanakawa to me than Senjogahara. So, it's like half of the ending is almost Hanakawa. Hmm. Well, that was a very good. I don't know. That was very good. Um, I guess I feel like I've rambled on long enough. Maybe that's just where we end it. Hope I didn't miss anything. I always worry I missed stuff. But I don't really think I did. It's really hard to cover everything in a way that's not just going to be boring. um, I don't know. I guess that's it. Man, that was really good, and I guess we're moving on to the next part after this. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. Leave a comment, tell me what you guys think, I guess. Sadly, the upload speed is gonna have to slow down quite a bit. I won't be able to upload every day anymore. But man, at least soon. For a little bit more I can. But man, that was really good. So yeah, I don't know. Leave a comment, tell me what you guys think. Let me know if you're mad at me for anything I said. Tried to lock in as best as I could. I don't know. But yeah, I guess that's all. And I will see you guys next time.